Hello from Spiritual Seeds, from Father Ivano. As you can see, I'm back. I'm back from my pilgrimage, very happy. But I will tell you slowly about this pilgrimage, what it meant and why I went, why it was so important that I went. But let us stay with the Gospel of this Sunday from Luke. Jesus came to a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. She had a sister called Mary, who sat down at the Lord's feet and listened to him speaking. Now Martha was distracted with all the serving, said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister is leaving me to do the serving all by myself? Please tell her to help me." But the Lord answered, "Martha, Martha," he said, "you worry and fret about so many things, and yet few are needed, indeed only one. It is Mary who has chosen the better part. It is not to be taken from her." The Gospel of the Lord. This Gospel is very important because otherwise, if we don't receive the truth about this Gospel, our life doesn't change. Sometimes we wonder, why are things not changing in me? Why I'm doing the right things. I'm doing the correct things, and yet my life is not changing. This is the answer. This Gospel is the answer. What is happening here is that Martha, literally in Greek, welcomes Christ under a roof, into a house. So Martha wants a very intimate relationship with Christ. She wants Christ near her. Martha is eating with Christ. Martha is close to Christ. Martha and Christ are in the same house, in the same table, in the same place. They are very near one to the other. They are very close one to the other. There is an exchange of love. But that is not enough. Is not the whole of the revelation of Christ, of what Christ wants for you. Maybe you have welcomed Christ into your life. You do the right things. Your heart is in the right place. You want him to be close to you. But at one point, things have to go deeper. Because that is why he came. What does it mean that things have to go deeper? Is that we need to move, you have to move, or we need to move from a relationship with Christ that is a relationship of intimacy, of proximity, of really having him close to me, to a relationship where me and him are one. It's quite a jump. It's a relationship where me and God, we are so close, and at one point we become one. This is why he came. He came not so much to be near you, to be under the roof of your family, or to be near me when I suffer, or to give us help, or to give you heart's desire. Yes, he came for this, but there is more. And it is possible in our life to miss completely the more, to miss the better part, completely. And how can we avoid this risk? How can you and me don't live cheated by being close to him but not one with him? how can this unity happen? Because this is what Mary represents. It's not someone sitting at the feet of contemplating I don't know what. It's the sign of a marriage. It's a sign of a union between God and man, completely one. How can this happen? There is something that maybe can help you, because it helped me a lot when I went into this pilgrimage, when we were in Egypt, in the Sinai Peninsula, Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is very important in the history of the Bible, in the history of Israel, because on Mount Sinai, God came down and met Israel and celebrated a wedding. The Torah, the law, the words, speaking, God speaking to Mary, God speaking to Israel on Mount Sinai with the words of life. That is, God and Israel became one. God was the God of Israel, Israel the people of God, a union. How did it happen? What is it that will make my life and your life a union with God? You know that in the Jewish tradition there is the written tradition and there is the oral tradition. In the oral tradition, the rabbi explained with some stories the deep meaning of the law. And there is a story that touched me a lot, and I will share with you very briefly, is why is it that God decided to descend on Mount Sinai? The story is this. God wants to appear to Israel. God wants to descend in the midst of his people. And so all the mountains of Israel, all the mountains come and bow in front of God, in front of the King of the universe, and say, choose me. Come down with your Torah, with your presence, with your divine presence, come down on me. So Mount Hermon comes and says to the King of the universe, says, the King of the universe, come down on me, because I am the highest of all the mountains. And I'm so high that when there was the flood did not cover me. That is, I was not touched by sin. Come down on me. Then Mount Carmel comes, this beautiful mountain of Israel, full of vine groves and olive groves and beautiful flowers. And Mount Carmel bows in front of the King of the universe and says, God, come down on me, because I am so beautiful, so rich, so sweet. The fragrance of this mountain is like Eden, like the Garden of Eden. Come down again, like you were in the Garden of Eden. Come down on the Garden of Carmel. And God said, no. And this is like these two mountains, like Martha. And God says, no. I will come down on Mount Sinai. Why? Because Mount Sinai is in the desert, is poor, is empty, is weak, is barren, is dry. On him I will come. Mary. That is what makes us one with God. Is not whether we are without sin, or we are full of fragrance, or full of fruits, but because we are weak. And to recognize our weakness, to recognize our poverty, to recognize our need of God, not need to become better, but need to have life, to have his life. That generates the context of the unity between me and God. God will come in my being poor, empty, desert, and barren. That is where God will come, and there is where the union happens, and there when I become one with God. when my life becomes the life of God, exactly in that place. Blessed be Mount Sinai, blessed be Mary, blessed be us when our life unites with the life of God. God bless you and see you next week.